Today we're going to be talking about ads, why they suck, the ones that are memorable, and why those ones are so good. And also just the societal impact of ads and all the juicy psychological
things to go with ads.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do ads suck?
I guess for the most part, I'm not a fan. I live at home and we have cable. So, I moved out for a little bit and had no cable, just did streaming. And now that I have to watch ads, I don't like it very much.
Wait, so you had streaming, but now you have cable? Is that what you're saying?
I have both now, but
okay.
now this is the first time I've actually watched cable in a long time. And I'm like, man, this is a lot. Like, to think that you just would sit for 4 minutes of ads and you just had to do it. It's a luxury now.
So I haven't had cable TV for probably 3 years, and so I haven't watched TV commercials in about that time, except when I'm at the gym and I'm running on the treadmill and they have 12 TVs up there, and so I can see the commercials, but I can't actually hear them, which is fine. So I get my dose of commercials only from running on the treadmill at the gym. But when we did have cable back at the house, I would mute the TV in between, like during the program breaks, because I don't even want to hear it. It's just like blah, 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 blah. So for TV, at least, it was very annoying because they were very irrelevant. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with what I was interested in.
Yeah, I will say, of course, ads still kind of infiltrate my online experience on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Which I listen to a lot here at work. Like, I'll just put on a DJ mix and do my work, and those are hour-long videos. So in between, there'll be 2 or 3 ads, and of course the one at the beginning of the video, which could be really long.
The pre-roll. Mm-hmm. So what, every 20 minutes or so, there's an ad coming on?
Yeah, pretty much most of the time. Yeah, okay. With those streams.
Okay.
The one I guess with that kind of format, it's a good ad when you're at the beginning of the video and you still kind of stick around past the skip ad button being up and be like, what's this all about? I think the most memorable one for me is the Dr. Squash soap. Literally the first 6 seconds, he's just like, does your soap smell like it's supposed to be a bad word, but they bleep it. And I'm just like, whoa. Yes. Yeah. And it kind of just really catches your attention, and it's a little edgy, definitely in your face, and it's just really fast-paced and goofy. So that was one that I really enjoy. And of course, you got the classic ads like the Geico Hump Day and the Budweiser What's Up, which takes really basic phrases everybody's like, oh, happy hump day, but the way that they emphasize the words, it kind of makes it their own and turns it into this whole cultural thing. Yeah. Totally outside of what they're selling. I think I was saying what's that 15 years after that commercial. It's ridiculous.
So it seems like with commercials you have to be a little bit over the top, otherwise it becomes just really boring, and a lot of people tend to do boring, safe advertising. I read this book called Marketing Outrageously. And it actually built the case up that if you're not marketing outrageously, then you're actually doing it the wrong way. So being outrageous and having ideas like, the hump day or whatever, that's the only safe way to actually advertise, because otherwise you're completely wasting your money. People are just sick of the mundane. They need something different. They want something different. And if you give them something different, then they'll be interested. You have to keep their interest.
I remember one of the ads you were talking about in your Marketers Anonymous talk from probably last year or something like that, or earlier this year.
Why your ads suck?
Yeah. The ad that I know we all know is the Lowell the Hammer Stanley, which is super annoying and abrasive, but everybody knows that ad and everybody remembers that ad. It's and the most important thing is remembering the phone number. If you can make that phone number a song, that's the ticket.
Often refuse to pay what is fair. The lawyer you pick must be able to make them pay. One way or another, I'm Lowell the Hammer Stanley. When you call me, you get 35 years experience battling the stingiest insurance companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. Just call me. Let's get your share. Lowell, the Hammer Stanley, 459 cash!
It's obnoxious. I mean, that's like bad obnoxious, but but a lot of the things that we were talking about and you were talking about, it actually incorporates it, right? So, like, do you remember the phone number?
Yeah, 459 cash.
459 cash.
He's like 459 cash.
Yeah. So it gets your attention, right? Because it's just absurd. You can remember the phone number, and on TV, like, you're either trying to get people to whip out their phones and go to a URL or grab their phones and call. So it gets your attention. The phone number's up there. It's just like ridiculously over the top obnoxious. And so, they can take it too far, but he's also been doing that locally here, at least for, well, actually it says right here, hammering for 30 years is what the image shows. So for 30 years, he's been at least in practice and maybe doing TV commercials like that for 30 years. So there's something to it. It works, right? But just because it works doesn't mean that you should follow like that example.
Yeah.
Like, we would not create a commercial like this.
I don't think so.
No. I hope not.
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually calling 459 cash, but as far as brand awareness goes, and I'm like very aware of Lowell the Hammer Stanley.
Yeah, exactly. We all know about certain advertisers like Lowell. There's another one locally. It's a used car dealer.
The Mac?
Yeah. Mac,
see?
yeah, see? That's the one. And there's like a caricature of a dog. Someone's in a dog suit and doing like some funky dance. And then the main guy, like the owner, he's got like a mohawk haircut. And it's like, you look at this and you're like, what is going on here? But it gets your attention, and it's been running for a long time. So there's something to it,
Yeah, I don't know if I would buy a car from him, but
I don't think I would either. I don't think I would call Lowell for legal advice. So they're certainly going after a certain demographic that appreciates that. It's not us, but it works, right? It clearly works somehow.
Yeah, I think. I mean, these are good for TV, but I think I'm seeing more and more on like my Instagram feed. It's just images, and like if it is a video, it has to be like 15 seconds to like make any impact. Like you really gotta get them in that little bit of time, and more image based. So we had a few examples. Like I really like, since we've been here, we use MailChimp a lot for our newsletter. You guys should subscribe to that. But we use MailChimp, and I'm just so enamored by the images they use on their site, because they're like really surreal, really colorful, really bold. And, they don't really have anything to do with newsletters, but they're interesting to look at, and I don't know, I just love how surreal they are, and they're like kind of works of art, and kind of just takes advertising to that place of like real art and just mad creativity.
Now, where are they displaying these images?
So it looks like, I've seen, of course, the ads, like I've seen these images within MailChimp, but it looks like this billboardy one is like in a subway. So, I mean, that would kind of capture my attention. And it kind of reminds me of a more classic ad where the copy is a little longer and it's got that bold image and then the copy that you actually have to read. And then, of course, the other one has no words and would probably go with some accompanying copy, but what's going on there. It's a shoe site. Maybe you can buy within the newsletter. Maybe it's like a Facebook ad kind of thing. But obviously people are happy. It's whimsical and colorful, and I just really like what they're doing.
Yeah, and you're right about the images. I see a lot more image ads versus video ads on social media. Now, if you listen to a lot of the pundits and influencers, they will probably say just the opposite. You should have video ads, but I personally see the image ads more. And personally, I'm going to give an image just a bigger percentage of my attention than a video, because like you said, it's got to be super quick. So I won't give a video 15 seconds. I won't even give it probably 5 seconds. Like I'll give it maybe 2 seconds, 1 second. Like I'll hit play, and if it's not capturing my attention right away, I'm going to just keep on scrolling. And then, what we've discovered here, advertising for ourselves and for our clients, is that the video ads, they're just not performing quite as well as those image ads. And if you think of like an image is worth 1,000 words, well, a video is worth like 1,000,000 words, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot harder to put together something that is proportionally as good, I would say, video-wise, as an image. It's much, much harder. We feel like the purpose of the video or the image is to stop the scroll. And what I mean by that is you're on Instagram or wherever and you're just scrolling. And so like everyone gets in the habit of just scrolling no matter what you're on, and you need to stop that scroll first and foremost. And so the image has to get your attention, and it has to get your attention very, very quickly. And then maybe the person will read the headline.
Yeah.
And if they like the headline, maybe they'll go into the copy. But only about 10% of the people actually go into the copy itself.
Yeah, and the thing about copy on ads is a lot of the algorithms are really weird with like super wordy pictures. So, for example, like this Subway ad, that could be a slider, and that would be really interesting. But that initial image would really just catch my attention and be like, whoa, like, who made this? Like, this is cool. Like, I like this. That's the kind of content I like very artsy and colorful and creative and interesting to look at. So even though this doesn't really have anything to do with a newsletter or like any product, people too are crucial.
Well, so there's a couple things that I hadn't seen this one before. So the one on the left, the first thing that jumped out to me was the color. Mm-hmm. And so it's a color that clearly contrasts with the background. And you said this was in a Subway.
Yeah.
And so a dull Subway wall, probably concrete is what it looks like. And so it just jumps out at you right away. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing that I noticed was the picture of the lady. There's something I can't really see here. I'd have to like get a little bit closer, but there's something going on. She's got something over her face.
Yeah, it looks like there's frogs and birds and stuff, so it's kind of like a tropical feel.
But it would intrigue me.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So like I would probably see it in real life at about this distance. Mm-hmm. And what I want to do is just kind of like zoom in and take a look and try to figure out what's going on there. So there's a little bit of intrigue too, which that got my attention.
Yeah, like I think a good advertisement is like a good art piece. Like you want to see it and then go in deeper for the details and kind of really take it all in and see what are these little pieces building up this interesting image. So that's what I really like about these. Another one, which it's still bold but more like product based, and you know what they're selling directly without even reading the copy, is the Squarespace ads. And it kind of...
That's cool.
Yeah. Brianna loves these. She always sends me the Squarespace ads. But it does a really good job at being like, hey, this is your website, and this is the real life thing, kind of connecting the real life to the digital and the website that they're selling. And it's just really clean, really straightforward, and just like really nice, well-designed ad.
That's a very nice ad. Both of those are very nice ads. Yeah, I like how they take what appears to be a real life scenario, and then they're telling you like you could have this on your website, because that frame clearly indicates that there's something that's web related going on there. The one on the left in particular, that looks like a website.
Like, yeah, that's the product shot of, as you can see, the drop earrings and like the price and stuff. So
yeah, the one on the right is a little more abstract because
that's more like a landing page kind of thing. But you can tell it's a watch site. Like this,
you can tell it's a web page, but it's not like the exact web page like you would expect, like on the left, So that's very cool.
Even though the colors here aren't quite as like eye-catching or bold, they're there's still a color story there, and it still makes sense, and it's more of a classic palette, but it's still a very satisfying color.
Now, one of the things that I think is super important for an ad, any ad, but an ad like this, is it has to be very clear what it is that is being sold. So I think for both of these, I can look at the picture and I can guess pretty closely about what's being sold. So on the left-hand side, my guess is earrings, right? Because that's kind of like what's highlighted in the picture. And then on the right-hand side, clearly it's watches.
But it's all websites because they're Squarespace.
True, but I guess yeah. If it were just the website itself.
But yeah, you have to, I guess, visualize yourself. Like they have a bunch of these. They have, of course, the earrings and the watches, but they have some where it's like a musician's portfolio, and it's all like pictures of her, and like just showing all these different ways to, you know, showcase whatever it is, and that Squarespace is the way that you can do it.
So if I were to see this without any explanation, the one on the right, I would be able to figure out that is for Squarespace because the watermark or the logo is up there on the upper left-hand corner.
This might have had it, and it got
okay. All right. So then, yeah, maybe it just got cropped out. So that would be an important element, right?
But yeah, you have to consider too. The interesting thing about ads right now is they can have a little less context in the actual image because they're being posted on a social platform. That's kind of why I like the MailChimp one, because you're like, what is this? This is crazy looking. And then you see who posted it. Oh, it's MailChimp. And then, you know, then you kind of dive a little deeper. So even if it was just this, you would see, oh, that's Squarespace. So, like, that must be what a Squarespace site looks like.
Especially if you saw it a couple of times, like the different versions. Like if you saw the one on the left first and then maybe like a day later the one on the right, you start to connect the theme.
Exactly.
So that would make a lot of sense. But, you know, one of the things that I've been noticing recently is with some ads they try to be too clever.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a bad ad. Bad ad.
There we go. So bad ad, and here's why it's bad. I think
Like I can't even read it.
well, yeah, it's a little on the small side. This was a full page print ad that I saw, and this in all fairness, this is a picture that I took with my phone. So it's a little distorted, right? But this was in a program for a sports event, and I took this picture and I sent it by Slack to the team, and I asked the question, "What are they selling?" And the reason I asked that is because, well, it's just not clear. So we know that this company has something to do with So with reputation management, if a negative review comes in, the only real thing that you can do is learn from it, make your service better, and then also try to flood the review platform with positive reviews and just push that negative one down and lessen its impact. But there's a very real feedback mechanism now that didn't exist maybe, I don't know, 40, 50, 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think even more than advertising and trying to kind of tell people what you do and how you do it and how good you are at it, I think it's more crucial now to really get into that kind of, I guess combating is not the best word, but kind of talking, like growing a relationship with your consumers where you're like talking to them, and honesty, transparency, and forgiveness is really crucial. And I know this book you're reading is like the end of advertising, but of course advertising's never over. It's just like in this really big change right now. Like,
yeah, so on my computer there's an image of the book. It's called The End of Advertising. It's by Andrew Essex. He used to be the head of a very large agency, and he found that personally he was starting to install ad blockers on his computers and just get really sick of the ads that not only he was seeing, but that he was helping to create. And the gist of the book is that when you put out advertisements, they have to be relevant, they have to be targeted, and they have to be honest. And people just aren't going to put up with any garbage. And so the way that you communicate has to be genuine, and it has to provide not only the benefits of the product, but the benefits of the benefit, which is actually something that we talk about a lot around here, especially in the last couple of weeks, is don't just talk about like the features of your offering or the benefits of your offering, but what are the benefits of those benefits? So as an example, one of our clients is a photographer, and we initially were using a way of describing the prints as museum quality prints, which we thought was really cool, right? It's better than just saying like a really nice print.
yeah.
So museum quality, oh, wow, okay, it's like it would hang in a museum. Okay, great. But what does that really mean? Well, what it really means is that it's not going to discolor and fade over time. It's going to last probably longer than a normal non-museum quality photograph. But what does that mean? Like, why would you want that? Why would you pay extra for that? Well, you would want that because the memory that you capture with this photograph is going to last forever, right? So you are memorializing, if you will, or just, it's probably not the right word, but you're basically just capturing forever that moment in time, which time is precious. As time goes on, people realize how valuable that moment was that they captured. And that's what you need to talk about. So don't talk about like, it's awesome, thick paper. No one cares. Museum quality paper doesn't mean anything. But in the end, it really means that you're going to capture that moment that will never happen again forever. So the benefit of the benefit, that always has to be part of your advertisements too.
So I guess to kind of wrap it up, I mean, if
actually, there's one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
This just came out like 2 days ago. So I was on Twitter, and Jack Dorsey, the founder or CEO of Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Did you saw this?
Yes.
So Twitter they banned political advertising on Twitter, which I thought was huge, and globally too. And it was super interesting. And here's why: it's actually very ironic, because the whole rationale for banning political advertising on Twitter is they don't want. They think that the opinion that goes along with politics should be earned and not bought.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is great. It makes a lot of sense from a political standpoint. But what about like all the rest of advertising, right? So why is it that it's not okay to buy someone's opinion for a political point of view, but it is okay to buy their opinion by running an ad for, this binder or this phone or anything else? Like they've separated that politics is something unique and special and different that plays by different rules, which I thought that the justification that they put in front of us,
Yeah.
for me, didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I guess, I mean, obviously politics impacts us sometimes in a bigger way. But, I mean, I guess products are kind of political because, you know,
Absolutely.
the bigger ones have like lobbying ties, and like especially like
They
oil
get
and
packaged,
stuff
they
like
get
that.
spun.
Yeah.
You're not really sure what you're buying when you cast your vote.
Yeah.
It's advertising to the core for sure. So I wonder if other social media is going to follow suit. I know certainly political advertising is like since 2016 has been a very contentious thing. I haven't
Yeah.
seen any political ads on my social media.
I don't think
do
so.
you?
I've seen a lot on TV though. Jeez, and on the radio. When I listen to NPR in the morning, it's like a lot of ads, or like any radio station really. I'll just
See, I don't
flip.
get any broadcast at all anymore. No broadcast radio, no broadcast
You know,
TV.
for a long time, my old car, when my dad like put this new radio in, he didn't hook the antenna up, so I didn't have radio for a long time. But and it is kind of nice. Like I come from a radio background, so I got to support my roots or whatever. But yeah, the ads are really annoying, of course. So I guess to kind of wrap it up, if you're out there and you're making ads, just make them really bold. If
Not too bold,
like,
but you need to get people's attention.
yeah, you want to make it bold, but if you're going to make it bold, just make sure somewhere, whether it's in the copy or the name, when you post it on Instagram, just make sure people know that it's you and know what you're kind of trying to put across.
Yep. Make it very clear what the offering is.
Yeah. Don't
And
get
then
too wordy.
Stop that scroll. That's the whole point of the image. Just stop the scroll. And then get them reading.
You can be a little edgy, you can be a little in your face, but you don't want to go too over the top and like annoy the customer, but you definitely want to capture their attention. And another really important thing, I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but these ads kind of put forth is, especially when it comes to social media ads, you want to make them look like content. Like you want to
Yes.
make them look like a regular old Instagram post. That's why I think that MailChimp photo is so impactful, because it just looks like a cool artsy photo, but it's, you know, more.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to throw in is I think that social media has done it fairly well as far as the advertising looking like content, and then you kind of have to look around to see if it's sponsored or promoted. But without that, it's very difficult actually to tell if it's content or an ad. So they seem to have spent a lot of time and energy and thought to getting it right. Whereas in other media, in particular web pages, like some of these web pages I can't stand going to. They're littered with ads,
Yeah.
and it takes forever for the web page to load.
It's
and
so bad.
you get these pop-ups or scroll overs, or like you only see like a sentence and then it's all ads, and then you got to scroll and you see another sentence and then more ads. Web pages have not done a good job of integrating in ads. I think social media has done it right.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. Yeah. So thanks
Cool.
for watching our lunchtime live stream. Remember, if you see any points that you want to recap on, or if you want to see some of our old live streams, we got them all on our YouTube, which we post on Mondays. We also post new videos every Friday. Got a new one up there on flash briefings. We have a flash briefing, Journey to 100 Million. And that's all the ads we're going to put in this live stream. So thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy weekend.